And it is the oldest liberation movement on the African continent. South Africa's ANC celebrates 105 years, but with declining support, an embattled president, and cracks in the alliance, what does the future look like for the party of Nelson Mandela?
Do you think the ANC kept its promise to empower Black South Africans? There's a hashtag battle online right now, and you can join in on our conversation. We're also running a poll on our Twitter page at AJ English, and you can connect with us with the hashtag AJ Newsgrid.
Leah, there's a lot of conversation around this story and a battle of hashtags.
There is. It's a tug of war of sorts, if you will. A lot of it is around the stadium, the Orlando Stadium. Here's a conglomeration of all the hashtags that our team has used today. The hashtag Don't Fill Up Orlando Stadium matched with the hashtag Fill Up Orlando, among others. We are ANC and ANC 105. Julius here, one of the many people we've been following, asking people to stay away from Orlando, part of the hashtag Don't Fill Up Orlando Stadium, saying that if you go, that you're actually a traitor. Jacob Zuma, however, was calling for unity and was saying that they've made mistakes, but that they will correct these mistakes. He said this, of course, from a very, very full Orlando Stadium. The hashtag Fill Up Orlando was much bigger than the one not to. And even though it was raining, a very grim day, it was full to the point where people were even trying to get into the VIP section, which started a hashtag that the VIP must fall. A very, very ongoing conversation here. So we wanted to ask you, do you think that the ruling party has kept its promise to empower South Africans? While just 19% of you said yes, 71% of you said no. Nogwako here is one of the users who doesn't think that the ANC has kept its promise, saying that the post-apartheid South Africa has failed to address alarming poverty, unemployment, and inequality, something that Jacob Zuma did address in his speech, and saying that ultimately it's failed the Black community. A lot of conversation online and a lot of conversation also from our WhatsApp number. These are a few of the sound bites that we got from earlier in the day.
ANC has never stayed true to its mission. We are suffering as young people here in South Africa. No matter how educated you are, in order to get a job, you have to pay for it, or you have to know someone somewhere at the authority. That's why you can see the crime is rising. It's because young people are not employed. They are educated. They can tell you education is the key to success, but after education, they don't have work for you. You have to pay for work, or you have to suffer, stay at home with your degree, diploma, or master's degree, everything. ANC government has failed us.
The ANC needs to evolve from its apartheid past. The opposition has shown immense drive towards social and communal development. ANC should brand their arrogancy image and be seen as a party that will drive social development and reduce inequality.
If you're in South Africa, we would love to hear from you. You can take our poll on Twitter at AJ English or get in touch with our greater community and our bigger conversation here with the hashtag AJ Newsgrid.
And the UK's National Health Service is taking a lead in the conversation online, Leah. What are people saying?
There's a lot of frustration, Folly, online. The hashtag NHS crisis has been trending in the UK for the last day, and the conversation around the fact that, A, this is 2017 and this is happening in a first world country, and that this is happening in Britain nonetheless. A lot of satirical cartoons also floating around there. What you've got is incredibly rare. This cartoon says it's called a bed, really emphasizing the waiting time that is happening in a lot of hospitals. I've been chatting with Den. She works in an emergency ward in a hospital in England and is saying that this winter it's much harder for her. She's already had to work overtime 3 times this week and continues to struggle with how much work she has been required to do, just saying that she's just working overtime and it's been too much. The British Red Cross has had to bring in volunteers. A lot of people in response to that have said that this is not something that needs to be happening in the United Kingdom and that there shouldn't be a need for the Red Cross to have to intervene, and a lot of people frustrated there as well. The number of urgent operations that have been canceled in the UK are also on the rise. 446 in November of 2016 compared to just over 300 2 years ago. And Jeremy Corbyn, member of parliament, has taken to Twitter saying that he's demanding that the Prime Minister come to the House of Commons and tell the British people how she plans to fix it. As we just heard, Theresa May has said that she will increase funding for the NHS, though she hasn't said that on Twitter just quite yet. There's also a question, the blame game here continues, as to where Jeremy Hunt is, the head of the health division, saying, "Where are you?" The Red Cross has declared a crisis and the National Health Service calling it shameful. Ultimately, there is a lot of support for the NHS as well, people trying to find the good in all of this, saying that at the end of the day, they still support this service. Are you having to wait in line? Connect with us with the hashtag AJNewsGrid.
Now, we want to tell you about a story that's off the grid involving Uber, the driving service operating in Saudi Arabia. Now, with a budget squeezed by lower oil prices, the Saudi government has announced it's partnered with Uber and another company in a push to create 200,000 jobs for Saudi nationals in the next 2 years. The goal is part of Saudi Arabia's vision for 2030 of economic reform. So, Leah, what's the reaction to this Uber in Saudi Arabia?
Well, the reaction's been slow, mainly because Uber started in Saudi Arabia in 2014. But what's new here is the expansion and the collaboration with the Saudi government between Uber and Careem, a competitor to Uber out of Dubai in the UAE. Ultimately, you can go onto Uber now, and the government is trying to encourage this for Saudi men and men only to start driving with Uber to help boost the local economy there. But you have to keep in mind, women are also a part of this. The government's trying to up the women in the workforce by 5% up to 28% nationally, and that includes having drivers. So the government's saying that that women can ride in these Ubers to go to their jobs, which is therefore employing young men as well. A very interesting story here of genders. 80% of the Uber users in Saudi Arabia right now are women, and Saudi has already begun investing in Uber, sending $3.5 billion in a collaborative effort there to help grow the tech company, which is in turn helping the Saudi economy. If you're in Saudi Arabia or have something to say about this story, we'd love to hear from you. You can connect with us with the hashtag AJNewsGrid.